All right, we're going live. This is Ann Sig coming at you from the E-commerce Business School. And I'm just kicking this off a little bit early to give people time to log in and let us know that you're here. All right. So I just want to be able to welcome people as they come in. All right. Okay, great. So go ahead and write in the comment section if you can hear me. If there's any challenges that way, let me know. But otherwise, we have definitely arrived and we are live. Okay, here it is, Wednesday, 12 o'clock Central. This is when I do my weekly Voice of E-commerce call. And a lot of you should have been notified through your messenger. And feel free to share this as well. There's a little button for you to be able to do that. Start watch party, okay? So folks rolling in right in the comments section as you're receiving the notification. Awesome. It's been a busy week at the E-commerce Business School and lots of fun developments. This past month, we have rolled out our Saturday morning live. And we had a teaching just this last Saturday on how to write highly effective Amazon listings, which is really awesome. And then on Saturday, we have a very long time member of our community. Carol and I actually go back about 10 or 12 years ago. She is a CPA and she is a member of our community, and she will be doing some training this coming Saturday. All right, so again, welcome everybody. This is Ann Sieg. Welcome to the Voice of E-commerce. And this is the broadcasting arm of the E-commerce Business School. And our goal is to prove to people that we are real people who work in a go-giving community. And it is our pleasure and our desire to help take your business to the next level. And it's pretty fun when I talk about this real people in a go-giving community. And just had a wonderful meeting with some of my staff this morning where it was reinforced all the more. Those of you know Sharon Irwin, she said, and she's on the phone talking to people, and she said over and over what I hear, Ann, is they do not get this kind of high touch anywhere else, that we are reachable by phone. We are reachable through group coaching. We are reachable through one-on-one coaching. We have our Mastermind group pages. It's high touch, high touch, high touch. The reason it's that way, let me be frank, I set up the environment and the culture of the E-commerce Business School to suit what I have needed in order to succeed in business is high touch help, having that direct mentorship. So I set it up for someone who, this is what it took for me. So why would I not want to recreate that for others? Okay, so we're gonna get to the topic at hand. And as some of you may or may not know, right in the panel, if you're here, that I can just acknowledge you. I'm gonna refresh my screen, make sure I can see folks and make sure that I'm greeting you. So we are going to touch on a book, this one, that if you have not read, hey there, Bennett. Hey there, Judith. Good. Okay, looking good. Okay, I appreciate that, Judith. We're going to get right to it because I got a bit of ground to cover here. Judith, I am so impressed with you. And as you know, your accountability reports are just really spectacular. And Judith is in our E-commerce Masters Program member community program, and she just does a spectacular job of managing her life and her business in a really concerted and focused way. So I want to give Judith those kudos. So I'm going to share my screen right here. And I want to make sure, Judith, my dear, if you can confirm that, hi there, Tim. Thank you, I appreciate that. Tim saying, I've been around for a while, never ever been part of such a hands-on program and group. You rock, Ann. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. I couldn't do it any other way. I wouldn't be able to feel good about myself. And I think too, Tim, it's because I love what I do. So I love working with people. We're going to go into this book. Highly recommend. I have created an entire training around this book. I don't know if that's been archived in our back office yet, but I will tell you all of those training sessions are right literally on this EBS page. You would just have to go back to the fall of 2017 to find them. So I'm going to go over one segment of this, as it was really tough for me to pull out what was like the absolute most important. It was tough, but this is the one that I landed on. I feel like it's really practical. So we're going to get into that. Think and Grow Rich, straight out of the book. Let me move that. Organized planning, the crystallization of desire into action. And so this is part one. There's actually 2 trainings that I did on this, and I'm using part 1. But isn't that what it comes down to? And Tim and Judith, you're here, you have a desire in your heart, or you wouldn't be in this call. You have a desire, and you know that in order to reach that desire, there's got to be action. And then it always begs the question, which action, at what time, and how so? And, that just has to get parsed down a lot, doesn't it? That desire into action. And so he calls this the crystallization of it. And I thought, well, this is really kind of the rub of the matter where a lot of people get stuck. And so I wanted to go into it for that reason, to really help parse this out. So here is what Napoleon Hill says. And this stuff, I gotta say, is so embedded in my DNA, because I read this book here now. It's actually split. You know how when the binding gets broken? And so my son and I consumed this. We shared the same copy. My eldest son, who became my business partner. And look at, right? You get in the feel? I just gobbled this book. And so it's kind of deep in my DNA. And it takes multiple readings for that to happen. But I'll get to it. I better stay on track here, right? Okay, so ally yourself with a group of as many people as you may need for your creation, and carrying out of your plan or plans for the accumulation of money. Okay, so there's a lot in that sentence. Let's unpack it a little bit. I want to focus on your plan or your plans for the accumulation of money. Well, no doubt, for the fact you're here at the e-commerce business school, business is for the purpose of making money. Are we on the same page? I know we are. I know both of you. I hope I have the pleasure of meeting you face to face, Tim. I've met Judith, but right, we are. Can you guys all go, yeah, high five, preach it, sister, the accumulation of money. And as we all know, money is just a means to get you more of what you want in your life, right? So now with this group of as many people as you may need for your creation, that is so drilled down here in the e-commerce business school. It starts at this broader base. I'm providing training publicly, so to speak, and it just goes drill down and drill down and drill down and drill down, such that, for example, at the e-commerce master's program level, people have the ability to be in a mastermind group, a peer group. They have the ability to submit their accountability reports to me, for me to do a video review every single week. So it gets drilled down in these kind of people groups. You want to get to where it's more and more and more and more intensely focused on the journey that you're on. So on this page, it's a very wide swath of people that are being reached. But as you drill in deeper, I'm giving the example of EBS because it's what I know best, right? Is you get into where it's a really hot crucible. And a crucible is for the purpose of refining. You take some metals, you put it into a crucible, and you refine that thing with high heat until they find the gold inside there, right? I just came off an 1.5 hour long mastermind with 5 key players on my company, and we were grappling heavy stuff, but we came to some kind of end conclusions, and then our mastermind is continuing on this particular topic. That was the crucible. It was heated. Okay, those are very powerful groups to be a part of. All right, let's move on to step 2. So again, this is his plan, according to Napoleon Hill. before forming your mastermind alliance. He's got a whole section on the importance of a mastermind, by the way. Decide what advantages and benefits you may offer the individual members of your group in return for their cooperation. The human economy. People, being their nature and stripe, is what's in it for me? If I'm going to be in this group, what am I going to get out of it? That's the natural human way of looking at things. But there's kind of this converse flip part is, but what value am I going to be able to bring in that it can create this mutual win-win? Because let's all agree, kind of everyone's coming in thinking the same thing. Man, I sure hope I can get a lot out of this thing. Are you with me, guys? And if we all thought in just that narrow channel of thought, we'd miss the scope of, I must bring my best to the table in order to think I'll get the best out of this group. So I think of my members that were in my team powwow we just had. We all had one main thing we wanted to accomplish. And it's a really unique setting because I set up this very open platform where everyone can feel safe to throw their ideas out on the table, that there's no bad idea or dumb idea. There has to be a sense of safety and security in that environment for a Renaissance level of thinking and evolution and creativity to happen, right? Think about the Dark Ages, very cloaked in ignorance. And you think of the Renaissance, right? You want to create a Renaissance type of environment. So he's talking about a mastermind alliance. There's serious things. And here's the thing too, listen carefully. To have a successful mastermind, these are skill sets, and they are all also indicative of, my friends, these 4 stages that are described in tribal leadership. Someone who's at stage 5, they will be awesome in a mastermind. If someone is at stage 1, they can destroy a mastermind and ruin it because they do not have an evolved advancing personality. Okay, so anyways, you can see that could be drilled down even more, but let's keep going. Number 3, arrange to meet with members of your mastermind group at least twice a week and more often if possible until you have jointly perfected the necessary plan or plans for the accumulation of money. Now, I have to get real and practical with you guys here. So here at the in e-commerce business school, we actually provide an ecosystem platform within the EMP program for people to get into mastermind groups. Now, I'm not saying you meet twice a week with these folks. I do know several of our members are in multiple groups though. And this is kind of a self-managed thing to an extent, and I love to observe the progress of how they're doing. But more so, bring it down to home here. You're the CEO, right? Who else is here, by the way? Let me know right in the panel. Anybody else have joined us? Right in the comment section. Mine was my family, and most notably my husband. Now, not everybody has that situation, but you know, like we're huddling all the time on this stuff while we're powwowing, me and my husband. And when it was our eldest son, we were partnered with for in business 10 years, but like it was all spanning about 12, 15 years. Oh yeah, we had these. So whatever your closest ecosystem is, which was for me, my family, you know, even if you're going, oh, my spouse doesn't even support me though, Ann, and everyone has their interesting dynamics that way. It's okay. Then you've got to become the leader in the family to be able to sell what you're doing, right? Which I had to do with my husband. He's like, the water's running, why turn it off? You go, girl. And so I never had that kind of resistance path that some may experience, but all to say, you've got to work closely with that ecosystem you have, okay? Kathleen saying, I love the mastermind opportunities. Judith saying, I meet with 2 groups each week. Okay, I think I remember that in your accountability report. Okay, so let's keep moving or I'll never get done. Maintain perfect harmony between yourself and every member of your mastermind group. That cannot be overstated. And that's in a more evolved personality that can, you know, hope to achieve that. And it takes a whole group of these kind of people where they're not egocentric, which my world is the marketing world. So I've always taught my people, hey, nobody fall in love with your idea, because we got to put it to the court of public opinion. And they're the ones who are going to decide anyways. And otherwise, don't become an ardent, fighter of your idea when if it were put to a more logical, open platform and the parsing out of your idea, it might be deemed not the best idea. So you have to be able to be somewhat egoless to have an effective mastermind group. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, so keep moving. Okay, keep in mind these facts. You are engaged in an undertaking of major importance to you. To be sure of your success, you must have plans which are faultless. Okay, so that takes a lot of concerted brain bandwidth, doesn't it? Number 2, you must have the advantage of the experience, education, native ability, and imagination of other minds. Okay, I think that's a pretty tough pill to swallow, the plans which are faultless. I can't say that mine are faultless. I have, 12 to 15 years of background in my own industry that I have all these, past experiences and wealth of knowledge to draw upon. But I got to tell you, I still have marketing pieces that don't go to the next level. But I always understand that I'm testing. And that is a part of my plan, by the way. So I'm good. I just got pulled out of that because I always know that they're tests. I drive traffic to it and I test it. And so in that regard, I guess you could say my plan is faultless, but I don't think there's a single marketer on the planet who could say every marketing piece and funnel they created has been 100% successful. That is virtually impossible. Okay. Anyways, so we're going to keep going because I know I have a lot here. Now, when defeat comes, accept it as a signal that your plans are not sound. Rebuild those plans and set sail once more towards your coveted goal. If you give up before your goal has been reached, you are a quitter. Now, these are not my words, by the way. This is all from Napoleon Hill. Where this fits in with how I teach, I'm going to quiz my EMP members. What do we have 5 days a week? I know Judith and I think, Tim, you're an e-commerce masters. What do we have that takes place Monday through Friday? So when defeat comes, and defeat is from minuscule to really big, right? Accept it as a signal, okay, and rebuild those plans. It's called check and adjust. That's right, Kathleen. That's why we have check and adjust. This hour and a half powwow that I just came off of, that was pure check and adjust. And we haven't even made up our minds yet on how we're going to adjust. But it was like, not happy with that. Let's go back to the drawing board and rebuild our plans. Make sense, everybody? But I don't give up on my goal. Heck no, right? Okay, because what was my driving force, my deep down in the belly, here's why I'm doing what I'm doing, was to get my husband home, which I accomplished many years ago now, but I still got a fire in my belly. And that's what your goals are. Your goal is a fire in your belly that will not allow you to quit. Okay? And only you can build that fire in your belly to where it needs to be. Okay, planning the sale of services. And I get so excited about this stuff. I know I'm going to go way, way over. Yeah, for sure I am. Okay, planning the sale of services. Intelligent planning is needed and leadership to execute it. So there's 2 types of people in the world, followers and leaders. And there's no right or wrong on this. And the fact is, you're all leaders in your business right now. We play the dual role. I'm still following. I have to constantly be learning. The marketplace never stands still for my benefit. The next day I wake up, it's changed again already. So I follow other people who have gone ahead of me in respective expertise, right? So there's kind of this duality. So while 2 types of people, I'm speaking into this into my own view, is all of you are leaders by default. You have your own business, so you have to lead. But Are we followers as well? Yeah, you really need to be. It's imperative. So there you go. Most great leaders began as a follower, but they were intelligent followers. Oh, listen carefully. An intelligent follower readily employs the opportunity to acquire knowledge from his or her leader. Don't let that slip by. Readily employs the opportunity to acquire knowledge from his or her leader. Okay, you guys are all in this, sink in. Now, this is a little shift in the content. So this is about the execution, the crystallization. What was the title to this? It's called The Crystallization of Your Plans, of your taking your desire into actions. Okay. In order to execute, you have to have some really strong leadership attributes. And here's what they are. An unwavering courage based upon a knowledge of self and one's occupation. No follower wishes to be dominated by a leader who lacks self-confidence and courage. Courage. No intelligent follower will be dominated by such a leader very long. Now, dominated, you could just think in the place of someone that they will to follow. And if you don't see confidence and you don't see courage on the part of that person, I mean, I have said, you know, business can kind of feel like a battleground sometimes. Kathleen has run a restaurant. I have a feeling she knows what I'm talking about. It can feel like a battleground, right? And you have all these skirmishes and you're trying to win the war, which is to have a successful business. It takes loads of courage. From stories that Kathleen detailed from her years running a restaurant with their business. I remember one story in particular. Yeah, courage, self-confidence. Number 2 is self-control. The man or woman who cannot control himself can never control others. Self-control sets a mighty example for one's followers, which the more intelligent will emulate. So this is all serving twofold. One is a leader you're following, and then leading yourself, which, by the way, because I am so fixated on this book, I'm plowing through it every night. If you feel like, man, I just don't have those leadership capabilities, what they say is so cool in this book is that you can jump from a stage 2 up to a stage 4 simply by immersing yourself in a culture that has stage 4 tribal leadership. That's pretty good to know, isn't it? And the way a group manifests itself is with 2 attributes. It's their words and it's their relationships with people. All right, let's keep going. Number 3 is a keen sense of justice. Without a sense of fairness and justice, no leader can command and retain the respect of his followers. It almost gives you the feel of what it would take to be like a general in the army, right? Well, you think about leading your team in business, and if they feel things are unjust and not fair, and there's no respect for them as a person, why would you follow them? Okay, number 4, the definiteness of decision. The man who wavers in his decision shows, or woman, that he or she is not sure of himself, cannot lead others successfully. It's annoying to follow someone who is indecisive. Now, there can be decisions that are very difficult to make. This grappling session that I just had, I'm taking in all this information through this grand powwow, and then I have to come to a decision, and I determined, all of us agreed unanimously, we were not in a position to make a decision after that powwow, in part because the import is so big, right? Anyways, let's get back to this. So that here's a little test for you folks. So I have known this principle to be true, and I'm keenly aware of it as I'm running my team. So here's a little way for you to strengthen this. You ready? It might sound the silliest thing. When people go out to eat and they spend like 20 minutes going through the menu and the selection, and I thought, the way it is in business, I really try to preserve my brain bandwidth. I don't want to spend my time looking through a menu. You know what I usually do? I ask the waiter or waitress, what have you found that people like the best? And about 80% I'll go with that decision. And otherwise I go, man, no, I don't like XYZ ingredient. I'll keep looking, but that's my shortcut, because I only want to make so many decisions in my life, and I want them to be saved for the important things. So that's just a little exercise that I do that, guys and gals, this is so important that you guard and preserve that whole decision-making space, and you keep little frou-frou dumb stuff off to the side and not let it suck you up. So that was just an example of that. And preserve it for what's important, which is your goal in your business, right? Okay, let's keep going. 5, the definiteness of plans. The successful leader must plan his work and work his plan. A leader who moves by guesswork without practical, definite plans is comparable to a ship without a rudder. Sooner or later, he will land on rocks. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know Kathleen and Judith, who are both here, they submit their reports. You two know, and there's so much to be learned from that, aside from what you learned from me reviewing your own report. Do you not see a remarkable difference in the plans as people are putting together their reports? Striking, right? And I'm observing how Judith is going through this whole growth phase that I'm loving. She's parsing it down and parsing it down. And she's trying to just rope it all together to have the best use of her time. And I can see every week she's drilling it down and drilling it down and drilling it down. And I'm like, it just blows my mind, and so the definiteness of plans, whereas when they're really general, how can you expect great things to happen, right? So that exercise, and I guarantee it is a huge mental discipline to go through those reports and make them as personally effective for you as possible. It is a humdinger, because you're merging into your life this business. And you're going, man, I have a load of stuff going on in my life and I got to fit this in somehow. And that's that process that I see Judith going through. All right, let's keep going. Number 6, the habit of doing more than paid for. Okay, there's this thing called counterintuitive. And you need to be really keenly aware of this in life. You're going to be presented with ideas in life that you go, huh? No way. No way. And this is one of those counterintuitive teachings, the habit of doing more than paid for. One of the penalties of leadership is the necessity of willingness upon the part of the leader is to do more than he requires of his followers. Man, okay, this is a big leadership thing where your people, that loyalty will come through like nothing you've never seen before when they see the dedication, the devotion, and the lengths that you go to personally to create the success of this opportunity that you brought them into to reach your goal. And all you have to do is watch some episodes of, what's that called? The Boss Show, or no, The Prophet probably is the best example with Marcus Lemonis. With me? And oh my gosh, there's some of the most dreadful bosses that just don't show up. They're checked out. They're doing their crazy, nutty stuff, and their business is in sabotage. Well, the deep mystery is that the owner is checked out, right? So anyways, there you go. Number 7, a pleasing personality. No slovenly, careless person can become a successful leader. Leadership calls for respect. Followers will not respect a leader who does not grade high on all the factors of a pleasing personality. I want to see if anyone else. Hey there. Hi, Bam. Welcome. Hello, hello. Okay. So kind of that thing, I was taught this several years ago. It's called organ rejection, when you're trying to bring someone in and there's just like this, and a corporation is a living, breathing organism. It's from the Latin word corpus, body. And there then can be this rejection, right? Well, do you ever feel like that when you're hanging around someone and it's maybe, it has those edges, those fringes of feeling toxic, or like you walk away from the conversation and you kind of feel down or kind of yuck-like, and that was a downer. You want to engage with people who lift you up, right? So that's probably a whole nother training on what exactly is a pleasing personality. And I'm sure it varies from person to person. One thing for me is the ability to laugh. You darn well better have a sense of humor in life. And hubby and I have said, that's a saving grace in our marriage, is you just gotta have a sense of humor. Or you can't make it through, because if we're all so serious, kind of hard to keep trudging along, right? So sense of humor. Number 8, sympathy and understanding. The successful leader must be in empathy with his followers. Moreover, he must understand them and their problems. And you know what? To me, this is a condition of the heart. And you can tell when it is truly heartfelt or not. We have that sense, don't we? And you go, I get the sense he just doesn't even give a rip. When that kind of feeling, it's like you feel kind of used and abused, right? You go, wow, whoa, I guess I'm just like a little notch on the wall or something like that. So this is, to me, a condition of the heart, and only you can determine from your part of the equation whether you feel there's that kind of sensibility, right, in place. I think we're getting close to the end here. 9, mastery of details. Successful leadership calls for mastery of details from the leader's position. Okay, I'm at the 30-minute mark. But are you guys learning something? Guys learning stuff? Okay, we're getting to the end. Number 10, the willingness to assume full responsibility. Complete and entire. Now, I actually have people on my team who will argue back with me. No, Ann, that is not your fault. I'm like, I'm the CEO. So yeah, it does fall on me. It does. And maybe I'm a little unduly, in that regard. But the successful leader must be willing to assume for the mistakes and shortcomings of his followers. If he tries to shift responsibility, he will not remain the leader. If one of his followers makes some mistakes and shows himself incompetent, the leader must consider it is he who failed. Whew, that's a heavy, is it not? Meaning you maybe didn't, the ecosystem that you set up, the culture, the resources, the time, all those elements that would lead towards success, maybe were not fully put in place. So it's a lot to assume as you bring in new team members, right? Okay. Number 11, cooperation. The successful leader must understand and apply the principle of cooperative effort and be able to induce his followers to the same. Leadership calls for power, and power calls for cooperation. These are just super, super high level teaching stuff. And my view has always been leadership is caught more than it's taught. So I'm teaching it through this, but it really goes to next level when it's actually, you catch it in the moment. And that takes a very observant student who has a keen eye towards wanting to become a leader to be able to catch that moment and go, this is a teachable moment. I'm learning from this. Be that good, bad, and ugly. The takeaway lesson you're learning as you are seeing leadership in action. The good, the bad, and the ugly, and parse down and drill down why. What I call, what's the point of failure? Okay, so 10 major causes for failure in leadership. 1 is the inability to organize details. Number 2 is unwillingness to render humble services. Number 3, expectation of pay for they know instead of what they do with that which they know. Okay, so they're not just big, heady knowledge people, but they actually know how to take knowledge and bring that into people. And that is their ultimate reward and satisfaction. The fear of competition from followers. Number 5, the lack of imagination. Number 6 is selfishness. Number 7 is intemperance. They don't know how to manage themselves. Number 8 is disloyalty. Number 9 is the emphasis of the authority of leadership. I absolutely despise number 9 when I see it in action. No. True leadership and true followership comes from when it is genuinely earned and nothing else. You cannot, it's such a faulty mindset. You cannot enforce and require duty from people and loyalty. You cannot enforce that. And that is a weak-minded person who think that you can, because you get nothing but obedience that is artificial under threat. And I absolutely despise that kind of leadership. Emphasis of the title. I'll have you know who I am. See it on the plaque? And the real world could really totally give a rip about your title. What they want to know is, what can you do for me? Okay. All right. So for coming to a wrap, folks. For more business leadership and training, join through the link below. That being through what you just had today was I think I did about 10 sessions on this, really unpacking this book. So if you are enjoying this whole unpacking experience, if it's valuable to you, well, thank you, Judith, my dear. Go to AnnSeekBookClub.com. Now, here's where it goes to a completely different level. And that is where I actually have, speaking of Mastermind, which we did at the beginning here, I have a Mastermind. It officially starts this Friday, the very first time ever, where we will be masterminding around the books that we are going through in my book club. That is only through my TLC members, which is a segment of the e-commerce masters program. And it's where we develop our trainers, our leaders, and our coaches, and where people want to be into a true online, or true live leadership development process, which is highly unique and very, very difficult to find even the opportunity to be in such an environment. So that's what we have. It's coming up this Friday. You just type in TLC in the comments section below if that suits you, okay? And I think, yeah, that's my last slide. So thank you everyone for being here. I hope that you got some value out of it. And I really enjoy presenting this kind of information. It's a lot of fun for me. It's kind of my passion house. Okay, so thank you. Write in the comment section, maybe a smidgen little thought, something you learned from today that you think might be a value for you to put in your business. Just one little nugget that you think you could do. Alrighty, till then, God bless. Thanks everybody. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye.